Blisters on your hands. Damn it, they suck. And no matter how much you may scream, man up, at your hands, sometimes it just doesn't work out in your favor. So today, we're gonna talk about a few products that you can use to help prevent blisters, a couple hand care routines that you could get into to help prevent blisters, but also talk about why blisters happen in the first place. So let's dig in. The cheapest and simplest option is some athletic tape. You can get a buttload of this stuff for like 10 bucks off of Amazon. I believe this is like 1.5 inches, maybe an inch, 2 inches, whatever. You guys know we all lie about size anyway. Get yourself some athletic tape off of Amazon. Don't spend too much money. You're gonna go through a ton of it if you do choose to use this. One of the ways that I use this is on my thumbs. I don't get too crazy with this stuff. I get about that long, let's call it 6 inches. I just wrap it around my thumbs. Boom, like that. And now I've got myself a little bit of protection. I noticed that as my grips might be wearing out, or maybe I'm gonna be out for longer than normal, this is a great way for me to get a little bit more protection there on the inside of my thumbs so I do not wind up getting any blisters. Another way to use athletic tape, but that isn't too crazy, is to get yourself a piece that you can wrap around your hand a couple times. Now, I personally don't suggest using this because what happens is it does bunch up. So you're trying to get this tape to kind of sit there in that callus area where those blisters are typically going to form, and then you can wrap it around your hand. You're gonna kind of finagle it and get it into an area so that it sits in a good spot. Now, why don't a lot of people do this for longer races? With all of the sweat that accumulates, the tape will wind up pulling off of your hand, rolling down, and it'll just collect in your gloves. At the same time too, when you wrap like this, you get a nice pinch here in the side, and that starts to take you away from feeling comfortable on the bike. One tip, just because of the way that I have put this on, is probably the worst way possible. See how it ends there in the palm? That's just gonna come off. You wanna make sure when you do this that you wrap over and that it ends at least up on the top of the hand. Now, let's talk about one of the more effective ways to use athletic tape on your hands to prevent blisters. Problem is, it's a little time consuming. You get about 5 different pieces and you're gonna get them set up on your hand. It's a way to make sure that you can kind of cover your calluses, but then try to keep that tape from rolling. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take one small piece cut in half and put it across those calluses. This is the first setup for this technique. Second, you're gonna have 3 pieces that go through the fingers. This is gonna be to make sure that to try to keep this from rolling up. So now you've got that there at the very top to keep that from rolling, and there on the back you can see you've got these bad boys there. Now you take another big piece and you're gonna run it across the top there to then keep that from pulling down on those guys and to give you a little bit more palm protection. What's important about this, as we talked about before, is it doesn't create any tension there on the sides. So when I pinch my hands like that, boom, and it covers, everything can go. Now we wanna make sure that we try to make sure that these don't come off here on the back, so we'll also have a piece across the back. You want to run that across so that you can keep these bad boys there. You want this one across the front so that you can keep it there. Boom! And then that way you do have this nice little piece. Now the thing is a spray like this is also extremely useful to have. So if you can get the hand a little bit more tacky before you put these on, you can see that it won't be coming up nearly as much. We've moved this around a good bit and gotten it, but this is what you're looking for. The next product is actually by WodAndDone. It kind of stands for one and done. And this is still in the wrapping. The instructions are there on the back. And we're gonna open this bad boy right now and show you what it looks like, but it takes the concept that we just went through and creates a piece that you can use. Now again, this is gonna be a one and done. So they have a spray that you can use. You take this spray it on your palm and your forearm, and I'll show you why here in a second, and you let that sit for about 15-20 seconds. It's going to get tacky. Now what's gonna happen is when you pull this off, now it's gonna be much more malleable than it will be with the paper here that is on the back. You're gonna stick your 3 fingers through the holes, not 2 fingers, not 1 finger, all 3 fingers. You're gonna stick them all in the hole. What that's gonna do is that is gonna put this bad boy here on your palm. So what happens is now we have actually created what we did with the very long process of about 5 different pieces of athletic tape right here in this one piece and package. Now you buy these in kits of like 5 and 10. So when you use this, this will be that one and done. You're gonna pull it off. Now you use the adhesive when you know you're gonna be in either wet conditions or more longer conditions, right? It's gonna be a longer condition, you're going to sweat more. This is a great option if you don't want to thicken the control of your hand to the grip on the bike, because this is just as thin as this athletic tape. Pre-packaged, ready to go, wide and done. Check them out. If you've used these, let me know. I have not yet, but coming up with the National Enduros, I definitely plan to do that on the 4-stroke that I'm getting. That way I can see if I like it a little bit better than some of the other options that we're gonna talk about. These palm protectors by Risk Racing have been my go-to palm protection for many, many years. It's a little weird at first, but you're gonna slip your hand through, then you're gonna go all 4 fingers and then the thumb through, and you get this nice little piece of palm protection here. There are people out there that don't like the thickness of these. I noticed that on their website they do have black ones now. The black ones are thinner than the colored ones, and as I was asking, it sounds like they're not gonna make the colored ones anymore. So if you liked the thicker protection, that may not exist. With these, I have gotten a ton of great protection. You can tell these are nice and worn out. I don't have any issues with gloves, and even because of my small stature, my little baby hands, I do wear medium-sized gloves. There will be people out there that are going to complain about the thickness. You're just gonna have to play with your grips. You're gonna have to play as well with the gloves that you use when you're riding with any type of palm protection to make sure that it doesn't make that grip feel too thick. The guys from Seal Savers make the Palm Savers. Catchy name. You're gonna run your hand through the hole, and then you're gonna use those 2 finger holes to run your fingers through. I have had issues with these before because of the fact that these flap down and then they get caught up in the glove. You're gonna have to play with it. As well, you'll notice that they're kind of shaped in a certain direction, so you gotta remember they don't say left or right, like which is the right one to put on which side and things of that nature. You gotta just play with it. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. If this is an option for you and it works, great. Make sure you don't get blisters. That's what this is all about. The last option, of course, is either 3/4 or full-fingered undergloves. Dad and I used to use these all the time, and they were made by Moose Racing. In the long run, though, what I didn't realize was happening at the time is how thick they were making my hand, my gloves, and then how sweaty I was getting. Some people need that kind of protection, though, so if you're gonna use undergloves, go for it. You are probably gonna have to size up a glove if you're gonna do that. So like I wear a medium now, I'd probably have to go to a large if I were to wear the full finger gloves. But the biggest thing for me isn't about the fingers, it's about palm protection. And I feel that these types of protection do a lot better job protecting the palm, but still letting a lot of airflow happen around the hand. As I said at the beginning, screaming at your hands, man up, just doesn't work. Some people have tougher skin than others, and we have to adapt and learn what works best for us. Calluses on your hands are going to need to be built and built up so that blisters happen less often. The problem is if your calluses get too tall, you're going to rip. One of the things to do is to use a callus shaver and shave down your calluses. When you have a peak, that is something that is going to catch on the handlebar and eventually rip. Blisters form because of that first layer of skin and that second layer of skin separating and moisture forming between those. That's the blister that forms. That blister is actually the body trying to protect that second layer of skin. If we're getting to the point that a blister's forming, we're already behind the curveball. And as we're racing, we can't stop to put a piece of moleskin on it like you can when you're out hiking. So in this case, trimming your calluses helps those calluses from catching on the handlebars to help prevent blisters from forming. It's another way before we're even on the bike that we can give ourselves a little bit of blister protection. Hopefully you learned something new today. If nothing else, I hope that you were entertained. If there is something that you do to help prevent blisters or that you use for blister prevention while on the bike, leave those in the comments. If you want to support Seat Time, we do have black Seat Time hats now in the shop that you can get there, these nice trucker hats. And then of course, the Single Track Mind shirt now comes in a white as well as the Keep Endurance in Enduro shirt. So please, again, shop.seattime.co if you want to support anything that we're doing. Those purchases are going to be very helpful as I take on the National Enduro Series in 2025. Biggest question, what did I forget? You tell me in the comments. Guys, thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, make sure you give it a subscribe, give it a thumbs up, jump in the comments, have fun, high five your friends online. If we don't get a chance to see you on the trail, of course, we will see you here on the internet. Enjoy getting Seat Time, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace.